welcome to the Everyday Board Game Podcast with your hosts, Daniel.
And Daniel.
Daniel, long time no see.
It hasn't been that long.
Yeah.
No, I saw you yesterday.
Approximately,
21 hours.
21 hours.
Yeah, what 8:30 yesterday?
Yeah.
9:30.
No, it was like 10.
No, it was 9:30.
Something like that.
Because my wife went to bed at 10:15, so it wasn't 10.
Yeah, 20-ish hours is what I'm saying. It's hasn't been that long. No, we just took a trip, right?
Mm-hmm.
As part of the Everyday Board Games Podcast is totally the reason why we went on our trip, right?
No, well, I guess, sort of. We didn't really do anything for it. It was more along we were just trying to get rid of stuff.
Yeah.
And buy more stuff.
How many games do you think you traded?
Oh, I already did the math. I traded probably, including the little small ones, 15 to 20.
15 to 20 games. So what we're talking about is we went to a used bookstore that's over a state over from us.
We've talked about before. Yep. We do it all the time.
Yep. We go there and we like to trade in a plethora of games. Now, if you live in Tucson, Arizona, go to Bookman's. Go to specifically the one on Stone. Go check out all the games we traded in. There was a lot between us three. There was, I think, at least 100 games I got traded in.
Probably a little bit more. You did like 80 alone. By yourself. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I did about 15. I think Damn It Dom did about 15, 20 as well. Because he had 2 bags full. I had 2 bags full.
Yep.
You had 4 bags full breaking rules, but that's beside the point.
It's fine. I just filled in the space that the fourth cohort just couldn't
do. Yep.
So
and he's like, he felt like he didn't have enough to really manage what he was going to do, but man, he should have gone this time around because they took some stuff.
They were very pleasant about it. Right?
I came back with 2 games that I just can't for the life of me get rid of, and it's both of the Deckscapes that I have.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we'll find a way.
Yeah.
We'll find a way. It is what it is.
But found some really cool stuff, too. We also went to a couple board game stores. That was also really neat.
Yeah.
Isle of Games, as always, and Tucson's Games and Gadgets. Bought some games there.
Yep.
Isle of Games, I spent a little too much than I wanted to, but I got some of the Kickstarter stuff that I missed from Marvel United, so I was happy about that. They had Fing Fang Foom, which I missed because it was in the all-in of whatchamacallit, the multiverse, and that was ridiculous. This is before Kickstarter had stretch pay, so I was like, I am not paying $400 for all of that.
There was one point at that store where I looked over and I saw that they had the all-in Kickstarter stuff for Worms Armageddon. I'm like, I have the base.
I was looking at, me and Dom looked at it. They had the all-in for Freedom 5 from Arcade Wonders, cool. And it was like $300, and both him and me were like, I'm like, yeah, I can't spend another $300 on top of the $300 I've already spent today because I spent $100 at Games and Gadgets, Tucson Games and Gadgets, and Isle of Games. I spent another $200 because I was getting the Marvel, and it was the Kickstarter exclusive stuff. So those were a little priced.
Yep, and here's the thing, right? If you're a gamer and you're listening to our podcast, whenever you go to a new city, go pop into a store. Always support them. Buy even a small thing, even if you have all the games already. Show them that support. I'm sure they appreciate it, and they would like the shout-outs.
I did it in Chicago just recently. I went to Good Games. The publisher has their own store there, Good Games Publishing.
You didn't know.
Yeah, which is also cool. I was able to pick up some games. I went into another one that is a board game cafe, and I'm trying to remember what the name of it is called. It's in Wrigleyville. Mm-hmm. Didn't buy anything there because the things that they had for sale, I own most of that stuff, and they were kind of busy because they were setting up for a comedy show. So we were actually going to have some coffee before the Cubs game, and they just weren't running the kitchen at the time being because, again, they were setting up for the comedy show, which is fine. Next time we go there, we'll probably end up going to that cafe if they're open for that kind of thing because the wife does want to go back to Chicago because she wants to go to Navy Pier now. So I'll talk about that in 3 episodes or 2 more episodes after this one, outside of gaming. But with that being said, we have a really interesting topic for you today. This one broke my brain. Go ahead.
All right, so the games with the best names, and what I mean by that is there's a lot of ways we could take it. These Chits and Giggles episodes are normally one that's left a little bit open, so that way you can take it in different ways, and that's why we do it this way. This one, what I kind of told you about is ones that we think either the name is the most evocative of the setting and the theme, or the names are really intriguing, or they're just names that you think are just awesome and they're hilarious.
They
right?
actually fit the game.
And they fit the game, right?
Yeah.
You know, and so I have like a whole bunch of different names for games that I'm going to show you why. And as I explain each game, I'm going to have to clarify the different reason why I put it on this list.
Yeah, that's what I had to go with.
But I just went through my collection and just went, oh, that game makes sense, that game makes sense. And I would just put them on a list. And I made 17 and there's probably more that I could have done. But, you know, and so we'll talk about the short list afterwards.
I don't have a short list on me.
No? Well, then you can react to mine.
No, it's because I got the 8 games. I'm like, oh, these are perfect. I did something different. I didn't even look at my games. In fact, there's one game I do not own that is on my list.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because I think it just fits. What I did is I went through all my played games, basically since 2019, on my BG stats.
Yeah.
And I went through there and I'm like, oh, that one has a good name. Okay, yeah, that one is very evocative. And I was just remembering stuff. And so that's why they got on my list, going through that.
Do you think you went more towards, like, the name brings out the premise, or more like the silliness of the name, or more like unique named?
Not really unique name. There is a couple in here that has some unique names, but it's more like, okay, this fits for what it's trying to sell, because I'm also looking at stuff like on the shelves.
Yeah.
What is that name that's going to draw you over? I'm not going to play a game that's called Nassau and
Right.
looking at it and be like, wait, what is that game about?
This is one of the few instances where we can't wiggle Stefan fell onto this. Because
Yeah.
there's very few. It's like, oh, okay. Like I saw the 2-player game that he did, the Revolution of 1828.
Yeah.
I was like, that's kind of I'd be pushing. Let's be real.
I just
Any
realized
of the
that
city collection, they don't feel like the city.
I am putting one game on my short list because I thought about it and I forgot to put it on my list, and so it's just outside looking in. So
Yep. Okay.
It just reminded me of it.
Yep. No worries. And if you come up with any others during the list, then we'll talk about those during there. But yeah, no, there's so many that I could have gone with. Do you have any puns on yours?
I guess one of them could be considered a pun, maybe 2, but not really.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't do puns. I hate puns.
I know you do.
In fact, I want to threaten you half the time you do a pun at the house.
Let's put that lightsaber away for today, because you're going to hear probably a few of these. It's not my number one. There was 2 that I was like, okay, these 2 are like the names where they just have super unique names, and I always remember them for their reason, and I'm like, there's a reason I'm putting this on the list. So my
no
number
accounting
one
for taste.
combines all of them together.
Okay.
So yeah, you'll see what I mean.
The way I rank these really is that the name is more evocative to what the game is about, kind of thing. But we'll get to that when we get to that.
Yeah.
This was a tough list.
Yeah.
It broke my brain.
So, but pause it now if you're watching, or if you're listening to us like on YouTube or podcast. Comment your games that are evocative, that bring out just the best names for your games.
Oh,
what
also,
you think has the best ones.
Caveat on mine, I did not put any IP games like Halloween or Texas Chainsaw Massacre and stuff like that, because you see that name, you know what you're probably getting into.
Right. I didn't find those creative enough.
Yeah, same.
Because I'm like if it had something else where it's like, oh well, if there was a game called like The Outlook Hotel, a Shining game,
yeah,
then maybe, right?
Yeah,
you know, because that would have been like, oh wait, hold on, like, because that brings out an extra level.
Yeah.
I don't even know if there is a game called that, but that's what I'm talking about. I didn't put like the name if it was based off of something like that.
Yeah, so like my Unmatched is not on here because Unmatched is not the best of names. It's a cool system, but it's like, Unmatched, really? That's what you're going for?
Yeah, I don't. You're right. There's so many. There was quite a few games I looked at my collection. I'm like, that's a stupid name. Like, how dare?
I love Unmatched. I love Unmatched. It's like,
I'm not saying Unmatched,
one of my favorite games of all time. I'm like,
Like, I mean, like looking at some of these, it's like these are stupid names.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. What is the Dice Forge? It's like, yeah, that's what you're doing, but it doesn't really feel like you're doing it.
I thought the same with Dice Throne. I'm like, I get what you're doing, and I don't like it. Like, you're throwing the dice, but it's a throne, but there's no part in it where they lean into you're going to be sitting on the throne. No, they don't lean into that part.
Yeah,
they just wanted the term throne. Yeah, I love that game. I really do, but it's not one of the best names. Anyway, I'm looking forward to this list. I think that'll be very intriguing. So, how many crossovers do you think we're gonna have?
Maybe one.
Maybe
one.
Possibly. There is one that I think would be pretty close. Now, how many of do you think you know any of mine?
Hell no, because I know how your brain works, and you go for like the stupidest of things.
Yeah, but you could probably still figure it out.
No.
Okay.
I don't want to go. I don't want to take that trip down your brain. All right.
Actually, how many of these do you own? You might not own any of them. Well,
yeah.
no, you own like maybe one or two.
I own every single thing on this list except for one on my list.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, if we have a crossover, it'll be that one.
No.
Maybe.
No.
Probably not. All right, so.
I don't even think you like this game.
Well, that doesn't mean it doesn't give it a good title. I can put games in here that I don't like.
Okay.
Are there any that I don't own? No, these are all ones I own, but...
you said you went through your collection,
yeah,
so...
they made it really easy. No, but there was some that I thought off the top of my head, like, that I thought would be
What,
really...
Unreifenbright?
I briefly thought about Palace Geflüster. I was like, Palace Whispers. That is a great name, like, if it was translated. But I have the Google Enter, like, data entry.
And you have the new one, too.
Version.
You just bought it.
Venturesome.
Venturesome? I hate that name.
I don't like that name either. Apparently there's quite a few differences, but we'll get into that. That's another topic. Daniel, what have you been playing lately?
I don't know. We're so random right now. All right, the first game I want to talk about on my list is a game that I just recently played. I really do enjoy, and I'm really enjoying these small line games that are like in a small little card box that All Play has been doing. I just picked up Panda. You swear by that one. I did
stand by it. Yeah.
I didn't put it on my list, but I played Rainbow just recently too, and I enjoyed that one. There was another one that I just recently played, but I really do enjoy. But the one I want to talk about is the one I enjoyed the most so far out of all of them, and it's a little trick-taking game called Prey. I really do adore this one.
You've been enamored with this.
We played this one. I like the fact that it's a short little game. You only go to 2 points. And so all you're trying to do is win as many tricks as you rolled on your dice. So if both my dice say a 2 and a 5, I either have to win 2 tricks or I have to win 5 tricks. So it kind of takes the simplicity, make bidding games more simple, rather than, I think I can win 3 tricks. No, I just got to win 2 or 5. Those are my tricks. If I don't get it, I don't get a point. That's fine. Yeah. Multiple people can score points in a round, which is kind of nice too, if they meet one of their 2 dice that they roll. And we like that aspect of it too. But my favorite thing is the hook. So I can go, I can win 2 tricks right now because of the cards I have in my hand. But I could wait and make sure when I go to the other side of these cards, I'll have the higher cards there when I'm on the prey side of cards. Because normally you start at the predator side, which are the high, not the higher cards, but you get 12 cards in your hand. You play 6 as predators, and you play 6 as prey.
Yep.
And what you're going to do is you play out those 6. You're trying to win tricks. And then after those 6 cards you turn your hand over and go to the other side.
Yep.
And when you're playing on predator side, you can kind of see the number for what your prey is. And there's 4 or 5 suits, I can't remember exactly, of different animals. So I was like, maybe if I get rid of these cards, since I hit my 2, I don't have to worry about trying to get to 5. I can go to my other side on the prey side and just make sure I only have 2 suits now on that side. So I'm playing off suit most of the time and make sure I'm not winning tricks that way. But if I have to, I have high numbers to try to win tricks if they play in that suit.
Yep.
And then I have to make sure to go to 5 at that time. And I love that little push and pull right there. It's where do I go all in the beginning of the game, or do I wait because of the way the cards are going to lie for me when we go to the latter half of the game? Really do enjoy it. Plus, I love that art style. That Native American looking art style is so really beautiful. It's almost like Inuit style, like Northern Native Americans or Canadian style of artwork. I love it. It's different than the Native American artwork that we have down here. We get a lot of the Kachinas and stuff like that, and the Cocopelis. Those are another ones that were real big down here. Yep. But this is more like the northern, the Midwestern Canadian style, and I really do enjoy it. So Prey from All Play.
Cool. The first game I wanted to talk about was a game that that you didn't have the opportunity to play because this was the last game that we played between me and Em and Dom on the game night that you hosted and weren't there.
I was in Chicago. I was having more fun.
Yep, that's fine. I don't blame you. We played Powerline by Dirk Henn.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So the way this works is you have a map. Everybody has a map of different power lines. And the power lines are a series of different numbers, like dice pips.
Yeah.
And they're numbered from 1 to 6. So 1 might be like a 6, 5, 2, 2, 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever. Or, well, it wouldn't be a 7. And you're playing tokens in that row. And it's kind of a worker placement game in a weird way. The idea is you have like 6 different workers, and they're all 6 different colors. You put the colors out on your board in the same order that the primary board has. At the beginning of every round, you have 1 die for each of those 6 workers, and you roll all 6 dice, put them in their corresponding spot on the central board, and everyone using those dice can place out their workers in their order. Meaning, and I'm just going to do like a very generic one just so I can explain it. But let's say the first meeple...
You are very generic.
The first meeple has a 6, then a 5, then a 4, then a 3.
Yeah.
Right? I can start on that side and put that 6 and put that meeple, going left to right, on the beginning of one of those lines. If I've already previously added power lines to it, I can try and go to the next spot. So wherever I'm looking for a 6, that's probably good for me. So I would want to put a 6 down. Then I can put my 5 out because that's the next one in line. And I can put it either in that same power line or a different one. But depending on how many workers I take is how many different lines I can work on. Up to 3 for 3 or more workers. So I can continue doing that, so on and so forth. You can never work on more than 3. You could go back to a previous line, because like if the first one I did had a 6, then the number 4, well I could put the 6, the 5 somewhere else, and then the 4 as my third meeple back there. And I can continue doing that until I've either used up all my workers or I have just the right amount that I want to use my token. Because everybody's player board has a certain limit to how many times you can use each number of workers. Kind of like Trek 12 in that aspect, right?
Yeah.
If I use 6 workers right now, I can't use 6 workers possibly later if I use up all those tokens. So there's this weird give and take. There's more spaces than you're going to be able to fill on the board. So you have to pick and choose which lines you're going to work on. Halfway through the game, every roll, we just looked down and me and Dom just looked at our board and went, okay. All right. Well, if I start on this side, oh no. And then what's cool is there's a spot where you can put it and it's -1 point, but you can effectively skip a worker. And there's times where you're going to want to do that. And there's also times where you can spend sunshine tokens and then just ignore one of them or use them as any number. And there's so much cool give and take of like, if I do this, then I can choose this, and I can choose this option. And it's so much fun of a brain burnery puzzle. But it's unlike almost anything else I've seen, which is really weird. It's cool. I liked it a lot. I'm not doing it justice by describing it. No. But
I tuned you out.
Yeah, he destroyed me. He had like twice as many points as
what
I
else
had.
is new?
That's nothing new, right?
I have to bring this up. You suck at 2-player games.
Yeah.
Because I kick your butt at 2-player games, and apparently I hate 2-player games.
We should play them more often at that pace. Yeah, you'd have a good chance. No, I mean, I play for fun, and that even though I lost miserably and got so many few points, and I realized like partway through the game, I'm like, oh, there's not going to be anything close to being enough to complete this.
I don't know if the 2-player game is on your list, but I remember us playing it a while ago. It was like when we played those 15 games. Mm-hmm. And I remember the only reason I kicked your butt that game is because I grokked it better than you did. And then Sir Ocelot's Cave, I was like, this works, that works. Okay, I get those.
That broke my brain in such a weird way.
And I was like, the only reason I thrash you in this game is because I figured out the puzzle better.
Yep. Which normally I'm pretty good at.
Yeah.
But no, you absolutely understood it better. I remember I was like, just looking at the game going, oh man, what are you asking me to do with my brain?
And it was funny because you just started doing like what I was doing to begin with, or I was just like, okay, I follow that one, I follow that one. Okay, this is where I'm going to put the thing because I get that puzzle piece and I get that little piece over there. I get that little piece. So I could see Dom doing that to you as well.
He did, but the big thing that I realized that I'm sure Dom already knew, but when I was playing it, I realized that there was a number of power lines that I was like, okay, if you skip a lot of turns, you're probably not going to finish your stuff, right?
Yeah.
No, even if you play perfectly, you're not finishing all those power lines. That is not possible. In fact, there's going to be significant amounts of power lines that will remain unfinished.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you have to pick and choose. Do you put all your efforts into these power lines that are easier, that are worth fewer points, or do you want to go for just a few big ones? Because if you finish all the intersections, you get the power stations, which are also points on top of the lines. So it's such a cool, fun little puzzle. I can't wait to try it again. So, power line.
Nice. All right, so speaking of puzzly games, the next game I'm going to talk about here is another one I played around the same time I played Prey. I think it was the same day. It's another one you've told me about. It's been sitting on my pile of shame for a little bit, and it was one of those one I wanted to get played before we went to the Tucson, see if it's going to stay or go kind of thing. Well, this one is staying for the time being because we really enjoyed it. We played Forever Home from Birdwood Games.
Oh, yeah.
Forever
Home is a cute little game.
Yeah, it is a nice little puzzly game. It's not as thematic as, say, a dog park.
Yeah.
It's a smaller little puzzle game where it's all about you're trying to get pattern recognition with the type of dogs that you have, and you want to get them to their proper new homes because you're going to score more points that way.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love the variable scoring because you're going to have different scoring based on if they're a city dog or if they're a suburban dog or if they're going to a rescue, or not a rescue, a foster home. And there's one other one, I can't remember what it is, like a farm or something like that. And it has different types of things. So you need 4 different dogs to score points in that one. So I need a green, a blue, a purple, and a yellow dog in this one section, and I'll get 7 points off of it. Mm-hmm. Whereas I need 2 different pairs of dogs into this section because I'll get more points or 3 points that way, or 4 points that way, something like that. I loved everything about it, and it's very simplistic too because you're either taking a scoring card, which is going to give you points as well, and that you have to finish those patterns to make sure you have those cards scored. Mm-hmm. Or you're taking one of the dogs that are in the tableau and putting it on your board to try to complete that puzzle. If you take a dog, complete a puzzle, hey, look, I can score this now, put it down in my score pile. And then these dogs are in their forever home, and you can decide where they're going based on the patterns and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, I don't want to put this dog over here because it's going to mess up my pairs that I got over here. So I'm going to put this dog over in the foster home, and it'll give me a point at the end of the game regardless.
Yep.
And so I love that little puzzle aspect of it. There's not a lot of player interaction other than my wife kept stealing all the Frenchies I needed for I could finish this one pattern that scored a really big card, and it's like, quit stealing all the Frenchies. I just need one. You're before me, and you keep taking it from me, and it doesn't come up again until it's almost your turn. And it was driving me insane. But I did to the point where I had to pivot to my other cards. She thrashed us in this game. That puzzle aspect, it gronked it really well. But I did like it. The art is fantastic in this game. The scoring is really neat because it's so simple at that scoring. I like what it does. So Forever Home was the next game I wanted to talk about from Birdwood Games, and it's fantastic. I've actually loved both the games that I've played from them, the Dog Park and this one.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what next dog game they make.
At least we're getting dog games from them.
Finally.
Most people are playing cat games, and I don't want to play cat games. I'm allergic to cats.
Yeah, exactly. So you're probably allergic to the games, too. The next game I want to talk about was a game that me and my son played at a restaurant. I bought it up in Albuquerque a few weeks ago. And this, everyone describes it almost the exact same way. Mm-hmm. It's like Yahtzee meets in Connect 4. And this is called Pina Coladice. It's from Yellow. It's now being distributed through Hachette, I think, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because Yellow used to have their own thing here.
They closed down the U.S. publishing, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So now we have to get Monsu Studio A or Hachette, which is fine by me. They do it, and they've changed their logo too. It's a really pretty logo, and the pieces in this game are just absolutely beautiful. You have a stack of coasters. You shuffle them up and you put them out in a 4x4 grid. The way it works is you have 5 dice. You roll them a la Yahtzee style. Set some aside. Set them again. Trying to get some certain combinations. Each of these coasters has a certain number of different combinations. Like this one might need 3 ones. This one might need a full house. This one might need 5 that are different. Whatever, right? And they're worth points. So it's the first to 20 points wins, or one of the catches is when you put down one of your drink tokens, which you have little cute drink meeples, so a martini glass or whatever, you're
playing a drinking game with your son, you
Absolutely.
Weirdo.
Yeah, but it was at a Mexican restaurant that's known for their margaritas that are massive.
I know what Mexican restaurant it is he's talking about.
I'll give him a shout out. I love these people. Chachi's.
Chachi's, man.
Awesome. Yeah. So anyway, so I thought it was appropriate that we were playing it there. And so what's cool is that when you put down
By the way, his son is not even 16. He can't drink.
Well, this isn't a game that's promoting drinking. It's about mixing drinks with dice. Oh, then the dice are pretty. Oh, man, they're like the crystallized, like, blue, so they look like ice cubes. They're really pretty. All the components on this are great. And, like, they actually are, like, square coasters, like, that you're playing on. Like, those are the tiles. It's super cool. Anyway, so you put down your token. You get the number of points that's on that card.
Yeah.
Right? So if it's 2 points, boom, I got 2 points. But then you check if you have any that are adjacent to it. Any drinks that you previously placed that are adjacent to it, you get 1 point per adjacent drink. Okay. So up to 4 additional points every time. So, first 1 to 20 points will win, unless somebody gets 4 drinks in a row, and they immediately win. Whether that's column, row, or diagonal, that is another way to do it. Really simple, and one of the things that I like about it is that when you scale at 3 or 4 players, you flip over the coaster to the other side, and certain coasters have 2 spots for people, so it's not a complete lockout. 2-player game, you only play with the single spot no matter what. Okay. And about half of them flip, more or less, in a 3-player game. Okay. So it was really cool. I was really kind of impressed with it. There was a lot of fun strategy. It had that extra little oomph to Yahtzee, and that I didn't realize it was missing. And I will gladly play this again. I had a lot of fun with it. Pina Coladice. Nice.
All right, so the next game I want to talk about is a game you and me both played, and now, damn it, Dom has finally played it. We had played some games while we waited on the Gamehead Geek to join us.
Yep.
So we busted out the Kinderspiel nominee for 2025. When this airs, it'll be close to when they announce the winners. Yeah, it'll be the day after. Mm-hmm. So, Far Away. We did finally show this to Damn It Dom. You and me both enjoy this game. Mm-hmm. It's a fun little card game with some really neat scoring because you're playing out cards basically left to right like a normal way, but you're going to score them from right to left. Yep. And so anything you saw before that card when you're scoring is going to help you with scoring, but you need certain things that trigger that as well. Some cards need 4 antlers, so I got to make sure there's antlers past that card, which I never got. I got 3 of the 4 because it was just difficult to draft antlers. They weren't coming up. It was mainly pineapples and that little weird coral looking thing.
Yeah, it's like the pillar.
Yeah.
Blue one,
Yeah, those were mainly coming up. I'm like, that's why I kept like trying to get the map cards. I'm like, I just need one of these to pop up. Nope, never got that either. But I love this game. I think the scoring is really neat. I love the weird, unique artwork on it.
Yeah,
it's so random, but I like it a lot. I want to play it with the expansion because I do own the expansion. I forget what it's called, but it's a little blister pack.
Yeah.
I think Pandasaurus is knocking it out of the park by bringing over these quick little card games from Europe because Far Away, Castle Combo, Mind Up, all these they brought over from Europe, and I think these little small card games are really hitting it for me. Like, their bigger games are doing okay. I like some of them. I don't like... I haven't played Shackleton Base. That was a much heavier... Cool. It looks cool. It's a much heavier Euro that they brought over. Whereas Nar, this one... Far Away, what is the other one I just said? Mind Up and stuff like that. Those are what's really singing for me, those games that they're bringing over here. Yep. More so than I think. Shackleton Base looks really good, but I got enough heavy games. Give me more little fun little card games.
Exactly.
So Far Away is a lovely game.
I swear, I think you're like turning into me. Like when it comes to like that used to be my bread and butter, and it still is. Like I'm getting a little more heavier games now. I'm killing things with dice a lot more.
Yeah, I like that kind of stuff, but just small, quirky little card games is something I've been.
So fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so the next game I want to talk about is a game that I've talked about briefly before, and these are actually portable escape rooms. We got it at Gamma last year, and I've been playing it throughout the year because I got 8 of them.
Oh, yeah.
And this is the Holiday Hijinks series from Grand Gamers Guild.
Did you already play 4th of July? It's not 4th of July yet?
I did last 4th of July. So this was the only one where I couldn't do it on the actual day of. I had to put off the Valentine's Day one because I was busy hanging out with my wife, of course, right?
You should have made her play with you.
Sure. That would have ruined it for everybody. No, but we ended up playing that just recently. We played almost every other one prior to that. So now I just finished that 8th one for the full year round, And so I've played all 8 of them, and I've really enjoyed them. I'm not going to give spoilers, but one thing that I really respect about this design is that all 8 of them, none of them tend to go back on what they're trying to do. Like, I haven't noticed repeat patterns. With some exceptions, I mean, that they do some interesting stuff that I think is really creative. Unlike other escape rooms, this has like a whole series of like information that it provides to you if you don't already know it. Like, I don't know, Braille, right? You know, like a lot of people don't know Braille, you know, or it might have something like alphanumerics, right? And this isn't spoilers. That's just like that's on their website, on their database. So when you're performing it, there's some of that stuff you might actually need during the puzzles, and they provide you like this whole like database of information that you could look at if you need to, which I really appreciate on that.
I still have one that I'm getting ready to play. It's the Independence one. So.
Oh yeah, that one, I think you'll like that one, but their theming is really cool too. Like, because basically you're celebrating the holiday, and then something goes awry, you know, and that's what you're trying to solve. Is that
as the 4th of July always does?
As the 4th of July, yeah.
As someone who used to do EMS and used to work in the hospitals, we hate the 4th of July.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because of all the accidents that happen,
everything,
the burns, the fingers missing.
Yep. That's expected, right? You know, no, but I don't know if you'll encounter that during the escape room. Well, I won't give you any spoilers or anything. But what I also really like about it is that there are literally just 18 cards. It's in a small little tuck box. There are 18 cards, and as somebody who's done probably 100 different escape rooms, like in a box.
If anybody wants to remember or listen to it, go to our last month's podcast when we're talking about our expectations. He went on a rant about one of these.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's
not about these games specifically, but another escape room.
Yeah, another escape. Biggest letdowns, yeah. Woo. Yeah, but as somebody who's played probably about 100 mobile escape rooms and still buy them, and I love them, this is climbing. Like, I really like unlock and exits. Those are always always almost pretty good, almost always really good. I really, really enjoyed these 8 that I've played, and I'm gonna buy all the new ones now because I think they're fantastic, and they're really inexpensive, like $10 or whatever, right? And it's the same designer who does all of these.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it.
And props to him as somebody who's designed escape rooms. That is a really difficult thing to do, especially alone. And the fact that you're going like way over the top and combining puzzle upon puzzle,
and also trying
really
to do
creative.
it in 18 cards.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I was just genuinely impressed with it. So, Holiday Hijinks. This one was the Cupid something.
Nice. Yeah. All right, so the last game I want to talk about is a game you and I both played. You had it on your Shuffle Shame. Gamehead Geek was interested in getting a copy for himself, so he was like, okay, yeah, we'll play that. Because we actually played our Scythe game, The Rise of Fenris, actually quickly this time around. So we were like, oh, we still have like 45 minutes to kill. Let's play this one. And we played Betrayal, Deck of Lost Souls. So this little card game, kind of like a Risk Strike, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, Risk Strike was the other small one.
So this was a really neat little game, a card play. It took us a little bit. That rule book is atrocious. Yes. It needs better writing. Come on, Avalon Hill, do better on that.
Right.
But the game was fun once we kind of figured out what's going on. Just be forewarned, there's a possibility of a hidden traitor in the game, so if you're not into something like that, just giving you a heads up about it. But it was really neat how that game works, too, because of, this could happen, we just don't know, and stuff like that. And it kind of fits. You kind of maybe need a hidden traitor, or at least a possibility of one, because it's Betrayal. And there's a possibility that a haunt happens in the big Betrayal that they may turn on you. So it was actually pretty cool. It had a great look to it. I love the artwork on it, but it was so hard to read at certain times.
Yes.
Even though I was a traitor and it kind of worked out in my favor, I actually screwed up when I was trying to hide the fact that I was the traitor because of the symbology on this game. I was like, I thought that was you. No, he's like, I have the little feather there. I'm like, damn it, Doms, and your symbol look exactly the same. Yes. So I was like, I can't use this card. You can have it. No, it's these two. I'm like, I already gave him a card and his turn's next. I don't know. I thought you could use this because Oh man, that pissed me off because it put suspicion on me like there was no tomorrow, and I had to play it off like normal because like no, you looked at the card. I can't take it back and give it to somebody else.
Yeah.
Because you have to play it off like even if I'm not the trader, if somebody else is the trader, it could screw them over for doing take backsies.
Yeah.
I've learned that when we did Shadows over Camelot, people were trying to do take backsies. I'm like, you guys got to stop. There might be a hidden trader in here that you could screw over when they're trying to win the game too.
Yes.
And so I was just trying to make sure it's fair. Yeah, it's going to help me in the long run, but it's like, you looked at the card. I can't take it back. Right. Even if I wasn't a trader, you looked at the card. I can't take it back. That kind of thing. Other than that, this game was fun.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing about board gaming. They're just fun. That's the main purpose of a board game. Yes. If you're having a blast playing a game, then it is a great game.
Yeah.
Even if you have a blast playing Monopoly. Which, by the way, I kind of want to try the Buy Everything expansion. That just looks hilarious.
It's fun. I've played it. It's so good. Maybe I'll bring it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But it's one of those things where people just need to understand that not every game has to have a good amount of moving parts or make you feel really clever. As long as there's people laughing at the table and having a good time, then it's fun. And that's what this one is. This is strictly fun. It's not highly rated on BGG. I rate it pretty high. I think it's about a 7 for me. I really do enjoy what it's done.
That's higher than the average on there.
Yeah. Because the fun is always going to win out for me. And when we are laughing and be like, I'm not the trader. No, it's him. That guy over there. And Gamehead Geek is like, there's only 2 more turns here. We got to... I don't know if it's you. I don't know if it's you. But everybody's pointing at me, which it was true.
No.
And you're like, no, he's trading with me. I'm like, I traded with you. Literally most of my cards were worthless. And then I'm like, I'm trying to get these cards that could help these guys win the game.
I love the inclusion of the worthless cards. That's such a smart design.
And also, I actually played off being a trader pretty well. It's like, I looked at a card because I had an ability where it's like, oh, okay, I know what this is. You know what? I will tell you guys what it is. That's an explorer. So there is possibly a trader in this game. Or it's that card that gets taken out of the game.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, I forgot there was a card that got taken out of the game.
That almost convinced me you weren't a trader when you did that. And that was a really good move.
So I really did enjoy it. Betrayal, Deck of Lost Souls.
And shout out to Board Game Bard. Thanks for joining us in the chat. So, yeah, So, if we ever debate this game, which we might at some point in the future, I'm going to be so conflicted on art and production. Because the art is phenomenal, but it sucks. Sucks because it's so hard to see. It's beautiful. The production.
The art is great. Graphic design is really bad.
Yeah. The art and production. Big size cards. They even have hidden codexes hidden on the card. Such a cool production. But because of the silver tones to it and the shiny parts of the cards, it makes it you have to hold at an angle to see which might reveal information.
Yeah.
And then the graphic design, it's everything had icons. It was pretty clear as far as that goes. You had reference links, but since the icons are so similar, it's
yeah.
It was
How's it going, Illuminous? But yeah.
Hey, Illuminous.
It was a fantastic game. I really did enjoy it.
Yeah. So the last game I wanted to talk about is a game that I told you guys about. I know I've been raving about it lately because I'm so excited to play it again. I might bring it on my game night because this is a trick-taking game that we were talking about trick-taking games with some of our friends in the chat here. I found a trick-taking game I was really, really excited to play, and I think it held up on its own. Unfortunately, the 2 people I played it with didn't like it, but they're not fans of trick-taking anyway, so I want to try it with a group that I think would really enjoy it. This is called Fishing by Freedom and Freeze.
So, me. Because Dom is give or take on trick-taking.
He likes trick-taking a lot, actually. Yeah. He's like me, right? It's a lot of trick-taking games, a lot of people who design... I don't mean matches, you're right. A lot of people who create trick-taking games are ones who have played trick-taking games so much in their life, and they're like, all right, what twist can I add to it?
There's sometimes the twists are too ridiculous.
Yeah, and sometimes it's really over the top. I actually saw a copy of that one game that I complain about a lot. I'm not going to say it out loud, but the one we played at Gamma. The Gamma Expo,
yeah, I saw several of those.
I found those at one of the stores. I was like, I hate you.
There was one at both. There was one at one store, and there was one at the other store.
I didn't see it at the first one.
It was at both stores.
See, that's I could tell the designer is a smart designer, but they're trying to fix. They're adding stuff into it that causes problems, and then they add more stuff to fix those problems, and it becomes a swampy mess of not fun trick taking. And
Yeah.
the thing is with trick taking, you could do it with a deck of cards, and people have done so for a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
So if I'm gonna play a game and I'm gonna spend like $20 on a deck of cards that's gonna do trick taking, it's got to do something that a normal deck of cards can't do. And I don't mean just like, oh, add another one or have a special suit or a couple ability. No, I don't care about that. That doesn't excite me. I might as well just play with a deck of cards.
Yeah, I just got you a trick-taking game.
That's right, and I'm very excited to try that. But what fishing does, it starts off being a normal, standard trick-taking game. Very simple, eases people into it. You don't front-load anything. There's no trump suits. You have to follow in suit. And there's the numbers 1 through 10 of 4 colors. Okay? That's all it is. So I can put down a blue 4. If you have a blue, you have to play a blue. Whoever plays the highest number of that trick takes all the cards. Simple as that, right? This plays over eight hands. And there's an interesting catch about it. There is a deck called the Ocean deck that has the same backs as everything else. These are set up from 1 to 5 stars. And the 5 stars are on the bottom, 1s are on the top. Mm-hmm. Shuffle up each packet separately and put them in that order. At the end of the round, you score up every card that you've taken. So if you're playing a 4-player game, every trick you win is effectively 4 points. You count up every card that you've taken, 1 point, keep track on a scoreboard, and then take all the cards you won from those tricks and put it on your store boat. When you start each round, you have to draw back up to a certain number of cards from your hand into your hand. You start with the ones that you've stored. So if you've done really well in the previous round, you're going to be drawing those same cards. That makes sense. Mm-hmm. However, if you run out of those cards, or if somebody does poorly bad, or forces people to do bad, or chooses to do badly in their own right and doesn't win that many tricks, yes, like you could force somebody to do poorly, right?
I know, I get that part. Yeah. The grammar, I'm like, wait.
Yeah, no, you can find ways, like, I could be like, I don't have many good cards. I'd rather be throwing these tricks so I can get better cards. And the catch is the cards in the Ocean deck get better and better and better the deeper into the ocean you go. So you start with the numbers 1 through 10. That's simple. But you could be getting up to numbers like 18 of certain numbers. Or you can there is a trump suit. It's a green suit. And it's fish, and that automatically trumps. And those are only a certain amount. You can have special ability cards that such you just steal a card before the trick is scored. You can have ones where people pass cards to the left, or even though I don't win this trick, I still lead the next trick. It's so cool how it works, and I'm really genuinely impressed by how neat it is. We only got through, I think, 2 stars so far in the 8 rounds that we played, and that was with a 3-player game. I think with a 5-player, it will go a lot deeper, and I can't wait to try it. I think it's really impressive what Freedom and Freeze has done. That is fishing from Freedom and Freeze and Rio Grande Games.
Sounds neat.
So let's get into today's episode.
But before we do, we got a little house cleaning. Just to remind everybody, we record ahead, so we haven't pulled the name because this is still the day before the end of the thing. So you will know by the next episode if a winner was contacted.
Cool. And so keep an eye on the way that you told us to contact you, and we should be reaching out to you if you won one of our giveaway games. And if for some reason you didn't know about those giveaway stuff, make sure you sign up for our emails, because not our emails,
on Twitch. That's where you're
Twitch, all of those, YouTube, Instagram. Like, we give away games for a reason. Yep. Like, we want you guys to have these games because we like them and they're cool. So, like, sign up for them because that's dope. Anyway, we're talking about games with the best names today. Describe that, what we mean by that.
I don't want to. It broke my brain. But basically, we mean something that is the most evocative to you. Yeah. And however you want to research it. Is it something that's going to gravitate you to the shelf and be like, ooh, what is that game about? Or that really fits what it's trying to sell. We were talking about it earlier. Like Stefan Feld, we can't shoehorn in because his games don't really give you anything evocative or really fit what he's trying to do there. Castles of Burgundy.
And it could just be like something that's just like, that's a really intriguing name for a game, right?
Yeah.
It's like the type of name where you're like, oh, okay, huh? And like, it could be a play on words. It could mean something else. It could mean or it could just be like so steeped in lore in the way that they title the game, where you're like, I am very curious just because of the name alone.
Yeah.
There's few games that do that. I found about 17 games in my collection with like a quick look that I thought were really, really on point, and then I sorted them out when I got here. And I was like, okay, these are the 8 that I'm happy with.
I got 10 games total. I have my 8.
How did you rank them?
Mostly like the top 3 or the ones that really drive home what they're about. Okay. Whereas the other ones are more, could be, oh, this game has a really interesting name that's going to draw me in, or this one really fits what it's trying to do.
Right.
But there's not really any system to it, honestly.
Yeah. Illuminous, I don't know if you're being serious or not, but Quacks? I mean, the Quacks of Quedlinburg, like that's a different name. We'll see if that works.
Yeah.
It might be on one of our lists. We'll see.
All right, flip the coin.
Starting with our number 8. I'll start off. So this one, this is one of the reasons I like Prospero Hall. And this is one of the games that they designed. And it wasn't an IP, ironically enough. This is earlier in their years when they used to work with Big G Creative. And this was one of those first games where as soon as I saw it on the shelf, I was like, that, what? And I thought it was so super silly that I pulled it off the shelf and I looked at it. I was like, okay, this sounds silly. This is How to Rob a Bank. And
I was like, which one did they do?
Yeah, How to Rob a Bank. That's the title. How to Rob a Bank. I
saw like several copies at Bookman's.
Yeah, I really like this game. It's a one versus everybody game, right? You know, you have one like security guard and everybody else is robbers, and you're trying to run in, and the whole board is a blueprint, and you're running in trying to get like all the loot from different places, setting off alarms. It's not a meme list. Well, maybe not. I don't know. It might
His is.
No, How to Rob a Bank was just such a silly title where I'm like that. Like, because it could have just said bank robbery. No, they went with just straight up How to Rob a Bank. It's like, that's hilarious. And it's silly, and it brings out that silly tone from the game itself when you're playing it. Because these are like, they're not great robbers, but they're even worse security. You know, it's a hilarious game. So I like it.
Almost sounded like you said they're not grave robbers, and I was like, hope not, because they're trying to rob a bank.
They're not grave robbers either, but no, yeah. That would be a weird bank. But Organ Bank, maybe? Blood Bank?
No.
Blood Bank?
No.
Anyway, How to Rob a Bank, Prospero Hall. That's my number 8 on best names.
Yeah, speaking of bloody, my number 8 deals with bloody. That's the Bloody Inn.
Ooh, yeah, I saw that on my shelf. I'm like, that's an evocative name.
It's an evocative name. It's one of those things, like, for me personally, I love horror or, like, these quirky kind of themes. This is kind of like the Psycho House back in the 1800s or something like that, where you're a person who's running an inn and you're killing your clients. And so I like the tongue-in-cheek on this one as well, but it is a bit more on the like PG-13 rated R kind of thing. So if you don't like these kind of themes, I get it. That's why this is lower on my list, but this one really drug me in, because I was like, wow, that's really cool. Then you got multi-use cards on top of it. You have some really great artwork that's very evocative too when you're looking at it, and it's like, oh man, and then you throw on that name, that's really just like, the what now? You're saying what? And you got like priests, and you got sheriffs, and you got all these people trying to help you, and it's like, oh god, I gotta bury this body, I gotta get a crypt in here somewhere. So
somebody dig a hole.
So the name will draw you in. The theme is over the top, but it's so fantastic. I love the fact that when you do kill someone, you're just taking the change out of their pockets.
Yes.
I love the rule book, even though it's not the great, it has a little fun tongue-in-cheek in there as well. So I love everything about this game. The Bloody Inn.
And I especially like even if you let them survive and they leave, they pay you $1. Like, it's such chump change compared to what you could get.
I could have got really $30 from you. Yeah.
It's like, I know you're rich. Don't give me a $2 tip. And Board Game Bard brought up a good one. I've never played that one, but I love that name. Oh my God, there's an axe in my head. The Game of International Diplomacy. I forgot about that one. That's such a great name. All right, number 7. Here we go.
All right, number 7 is one that might be on your list. This is the one where I'm saying this is close to the punny style of names here. It is an older game, but the name works as well, but also the way they themed it as well. Okay. And this is Can't Stop from Sid Saxon. It's a push your luck, and I like that because it's evocative to the fact that you are pushing your luck in this one because you're rolling your dice and trying to go so far up the track before busting in that sense.
Yep.
Plus, the way they package it, making it look like a stop sign, and it's like, oh, there's a stop sign, and it says can't stop on it, and I like what that's doing. It's got a good look to it, especially if you can find one of the older, I think it's Eagle Griffins, where it's an actual stop sign with little cones on it. The one I have is a smaller version where it's got a matte stop sign instead of the dual layered board, in a sense, stop sign. But, oh my god, it's a fantastic looking game. It is, that name will draw you in, can't stop. It still sells today, and this is a game that came out in the 80s.
Yeah.
This game is older than me.
Yeah.
So, I think it came out in 82.
84.
It's probably still older than me because I was August of '84, so I'm at the back end of it.
Yeah, that's true. I'm sure Sid Saxon made it before August of '84. Yeah, if it got published then, yeah.
Yeah. So, but no, Can't Stop. Fantastic little push your luck game. It's evocative to the mechanism. It's the packaging works really well. I love this one.
There is a few of these that like I do have that style on my list. Like Can't Stop is a great because. Every time during the game, there's one point where somebody's pressing their luck and like you can't stop, he can't, and then you think in the back of your head,
do that.
He said the thing. He said the thing. You know, yeah.
I was.
Yeah. That's a good pick. That really is. So, this one, I know a little bit more of the background behind it, and this is why this one is on my list. It's only at number 7, but there's a lot of like bluffing games and stuff. And during a lot of bluffing games, if you're playing it and you think somebody is just, not being truthful, you might get upset with them, right? Like that's part of the game. Like let's say you and me are playing poker and I raise a bet. You're probably not going to be super thrilled with me, right, Daniel? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. And have you ever wanted to just shout out and just like call me names or
what else is new?
Yeah. Well, I mean. Specifically in bluffing games, I should say, not like friendly co-op Euro games, because you'll still do that. No, but like that's a big thing about bluffing games, right? It's like I swear to God, if you and you get mad at them, right? This game takes that idea and puts it not only into the theme but into the title as well. This is You Lying Sack from Penn Jillette and Exploding Kittens. You Lying Sack is a lying sack of just good things, and then there's a single bad thing. Or no, I'm sorry, a bunch of bad things and a single good thing. It doesn't matter what they are. You reach in the bag, you take out whatever you want. It's either a bunch of bad things or a good thing. That's all you take out. And you claim whatever you want. You can be honest. You can lie. Because lying is fun. That's the idea. And at some point you have to start calling people, it's a You Lying Sack! Because it's the sack that lies to you, and they even have a smirk on the sack itself. It's 100%. And I can't help but remember now, like, every time I play this game, or I even hear the name You Lying Sack on it, I hear it in Penn Jillette's voice. Because he's the boisterous one of Penn and Teller.
I mean...
He's loud. I hear his voice. He's the
only one that talks, so sure.
No, but I hear his voice, like, in the back of my head just going, of course he did! You gotta understand! You lying sack! Because that is 100%... he will just go on this rage-filled rant, like, in the middle of a bit, and, like, everyone will be bawling laughing, and I can just imagine him playtesting this game. It's like, you lying sack! In his voice, it would be so distinctive. That's why I had to pick it. I think it's one of the best, like... title to component to theme in a game out there. It's not the best game ever, but it totally works for exactly the flavor that they're trying to go for. You're not going to look at that game and be caught off guard by what you're expecting. It brings it out to you full force with just that name, You Lying Sack. That's on my number 7.
All right.
Number 6. Here we go.
Didn't sell to me. All right, number 6 is...
I wasn't trying to sell it to you. I feel like it's a bluffing game. You would not like it. You would hate every minute of it.
My number 6 is a Godzilla game in the box. But it's not a Godzilla game, but it has that Godzilla kind of theme. And then you say it's got a Yahtzee to it, and it's got the evocative name on it, King of Tokyo. Mm-hmm. And I remember personally this one. You're like, hey, you guys want to play King of Tokyo when we went to the game night at the shop? And you're like, what? And we go look at it, and we see like this wannabe Godzilla, and he's like, "Oh yeah, and you do this, and you do that," and everybody at the thing just stopped and wanted to play this because it literally is a King of the Hill game with monsters, and it works so well. And this is how me and the Gamehead Geek became really good friends, is because of this specific game. Because this is the game that really made us start cussing each other out, because I ended up winning the game by getting the 20th point by using the detachable tail to block all the damage I was going to get that round and knocking me out. So yeah, King of Tokyo really was that thing where it just worked for me. It's like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here. I could have done like King of Monster Island, but that just didn't. It doesn't roll off the tongue. Whereas King of Tokyo works because it's like, oh, you're Godzilla, you're fighting in Tokyo and trying to take control of it, and you're all these different monsters. It's just really sung to me, and you look at it on the shelf, the way the box art works too. It sells really well. And speaking of Yellow, this was their big thing for the longest time too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I like everything about it. Monsters battling out, and you have them on the box cover, and it's saying like, "Hey, you guys are trying to take control of Tokyo as these monsters, like a Godzilla movie."
Yeah,
and it just works. So for me, King of Tokyo is one that has a really good name to it.
Absolutely.
And this is the one I don't own.
You don't own King of Tokyo?
Nope.
You ended up getting rid of it?
Yeah, a while ago.
Oh, okay.
My wife doesn't like it. It's too lucky.
Yep. No, it is. Yeah. Also has a foreign geopole for
exactly. It has that foreign look to it.
Board Game Bard actually brought up a really good one. We didn't play test this at all by Asmati. That's a really good one too, because it's absolute ridiculous shenanigans and it's silly, and it does feel like they didn't play test it at all. I played that game. It's pretty good. All right, my number 6 is a game that not only tells you how to play the game, but also brings out the theming of it in a really cool way. This is by Blue Orange Game, and it's called Rip Off. And the idea is like you're trying not to waste your money, and roll your eyes all you want, but no, this is cool how it works, because what you do is you have this big oversized dollar bill, and you're trying not to waste your money, and you deal out 3 cards, and you can't get any closer than like a foot to the card, and you're trying to cover up at least 2 of the items. Then there are all sorts of different shapes. That's what you're spending your money on. So you have to tear off a piece of the dollar bill, and the thing is, you have to be able to tear off a big enough piece to cover up the 2 of the 3 items. You don't have to do all 3, but you have to do 2 of the 3. But you want to have the most amount of physical dollar remaining at the end of the game. So you're trying to tear it off as perfectly as possible while still leaving you some wiggle room. That way you don't like have a single corner sticking out. You don't want to have like a single piece like that didn't quite fit, because then you have to discard it and try it off again. Yeah, exactly. And it's just so funny, like, because every once in a while you'll tear off a piece, you're like, all right, whoa, or you'll sneeze, and you're like, oh no, okay, all right, maybe it'll work. And you see like one person trying to just fit their dollar bill piece like just as perfectly as they can on the little piece, and no matter what, there's a little corner sticking out, and you're like, I gotta throw it away. What a ripoff! Yeah, it's so cool. I never heard about this game until my mother-in-law bought it for me at a thrift store, and I was like, okay, I'm willing to try it, and I love it. It's so fun, and because you're balancing your budget in the most like literal way possible. It's funny. I know you don't like it, but I think it's fantastic.
Remember how we were talking about just fun? This game is not fun.
Just because you kept getting off like a really like weirdly specific shape, you're like, come on, and you had to like throw away like 2 or 3 pieces, and you were pretty much out of the running.
I remember Damn It Dom wasn't having a blast with it either.
That's okay. This is not the level of silliness that you like.
I know. I like different,
and that's
silliness.
Fine. You can have a different kind of silliness. Everyone's entitled to that. I'm saying I really enjoy that.
Speaking of silliness, my number 5 will shock you.
Ooh, is that clickbait title? Let's try it.
All right, my number 5 here is one that what I find interesting. It has not really a generic name, but it's a kind of a generic game. It's like, why did no one ever think this through beforehand? The first time I ever played this game, it was at a board game con when we were in our local one here, and when they had the local one, where we played it at. It was like this weird science museum thing. It had an Egyptian, and you're just showing it off to me. And I'm like, oh, this is really cool. And then it really took off for me the next year when we went to the one in Tobin Park, where they had a giant version of this game, and I love the name of this game, Tumbling Dice.
Oh, yeah.
It's a dexterity game. It's telling you exactly what you're doing. You're throwing dice and you're scoring points based on what your dice lands on. But here's the twist. You can knock my dice off, either off the board or give me a better score, or try to knock it just right. Be like, yeah, you're going to get 6 points, but I'm going to flip it to a 1 and somehow be able to bounce it off one of those things and try to get it flipped over to a 1, where you're only getting 6 times 1 rather than 6 times 6 kind of thing. And I love everything about it. I have my own personal board thanks to my friend Gamehead Geek making me one. But I have a blast every time I take this out. And the name really just describes the game for you. Yeah. Tumbling dice, because that's what you're doing. You're throwing a set of dice down this board. I like the Eagle Griffin versions because they're collapsible and they're small. I have one that's just a giant one that I'll bring out and play with a big group. It's a perfect party game because all you need is different sets of dice. You don't even have to use the ones that they give you in the game. You could just be like, okay, you're playing the black one, you're the white one. Here, I got some yellows, I got some reds, I got some blues. And people can just constantly keep going and playing this game. And the name really tells you what you're doing, and it works. So for me, my number 5 is Tumbling Dice.
Shocked by 100% of his picks so far. Yeah, this one, this went through my mind. I was like, but I just don't think that name's exciting to me. It's perfect. It's spot on, right? It makes a lot of sense, and I don't think.
But we weren't going for excitement.
No, I know. I just there was something about it. It's like, yeah, okay, I get it. Because I have another dexterity game that's called Dice Flick. And it's awesome. Like, it's a great, dexterity game. But that name is just so dull. And I was like...
Well, Dice Flicks doesn't sound good at all.
Yeah, it doesn't. It really doesn't.
It sounds like a venereal disease.
So... Excuse me, sir. You need to get your dice checked by a doctor. Keeps rolling ones over here. My number 5 is a game that... It's not a pun of a name. I thought it brings out a really interesting idea, and it's a dexterity game, but this...
Mine's a better dexterity game. I like that both of our 5s are dexterity games.
Yeah. No, this game, it's such a cool, mysterious title that works really well. And it's almost wholesome. I actually get, a really calm feeling every time I think of it. This is Catch the Moon. And there's something about it, and I always envision the cover, and I'm like, Catch the Moon. And I just envision myself as a kid, imagining, if I just built a ladder high enough, I can catch that moon. And it's, such a wholesome idea. It's like a children's story. It's no matter, you're going to keep climbing the ladder, climbing it up, higher and higher, until you can eventually reach the stars, right?
There's no moon in this game.
No. But you can make him cry if you don't follow what he needs, right? You're never going to catch it. It's never going to be obtainable, but that doesn't mean you can't try for it. I don't know. There's something just so charming about this game. It could have been anything, right? It's oh, ladder stacker. Oh, cool. That's fun. And there's a lot of these there's a lot of ones. Yeah. But, there's a lot of, dexterity games that are, literally what they are, it's, cool, yeah. It's oh, well, what's the catch on this? I have, Ice Tower or something, or Ice Tumble, and you're stacking ice blocks, right? It's yeah, it makes sense for it. But Catch the Moon is just such it's such a, wholesome idea that I think the theming is just really brought out in a lovely way with this game.
It's so wholesome, I traded it in yesterday.
I know you did. And that's fine. I mean, you don't like dexterity anyway, but... No, Catch the Moon, I just think this is a lovely game, and I think that title really brings it out.
No, it's a fine game. I liked it. My wife wasn't enamored with it. That's the only reason I didn't keep it, because it's you have it. I don't need to...
All right. Catch the Moon, that's my number 5.
All right, number 4.
Half. And my number 4 is one that has one of the weirdest titles. And not a pun or anything. It's just, it's such a lore-driven game that, it's a really intriguing title. I'm just going to say it. It's Holding On, The Troubled Life of Billy Kerr. And this is a really strange game where it's a cooperative game where there's Billy Kerr, the main character. He is a patient, and you are nurses and doctors trying to save his life. He's going through some kind of illness. You don't know what, but at the same time, you are trying to, talk to him and try and get an understanding of his background and like clear out his memories and all of this different stuff, like to try and get an understanding of like what might be causing this disease at the same time while trying to stabilize him and keep him alive. That is just such an interesting premise, and it immediately, by reading the title, Holding On, The Troubled Life of Billy Kerr. I've never forgotten that name. Ever since I heard about it, it makes perfect sense. Like, you're just trying to keep him alive.
I totally forgot about this game until you said it.
Right, and that's fine. Like, I still have it in my collection, and I'm intrigued to play it more. Like, I haven't played it in years, like since from a long time ago, and like the game itself it's decent, but it's just like that name is just so intriguing. Like, who puts a proper name of a fictional character in the name of a game and have it be that memorable?
The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, right there.
Sure, but that's an IP. But I don't disagree, but that's an IP. Yeah. But like, how many other games have like proper nouns in their name in there?
Deadpool, right here. Dice Throne Deadpool.
That's not an IP. You know what I mean? But anyway, whatever. Go number 4. What kind of crap do you have here? Come on now.
My number 4 is evocative because I saw the name and it made me want to get the game. And I've been waiting to play it. And I actually really do enjoy the game, so much so that I just got the big box for it. And this is Canvas. Because my wife is an artist. And I have a photorealistic Batman in my living room that she drew up. It's somewhere up there. Yep. I think it's laying down.
No, it's okay.
There it is.
Yep.
But yeah, it is such an evocative title because it's like, oh, what are you doing here? And it tells you what you're doing. You're building canvas pieces. It's a nice little drafting game where you're putting stuff in there and you're making creative art as you're going. And it really sells what the game is. It's all about creating art. You're trying to score based off palettes. You're trying to score based off pictures. It actually gives wild names when you create your canvas. It gives you little easels to put your canvas up if you're the blue ribbon winner and stuff like that. So I like everything that is... I like everything that what it does because it draws me to the shelf and to go check it out. It draws me to the Kickstarter to go check it out. So Canvas is my number 4.
Yeah, this one did pop in my head, but I have so many of these games that are just like it's like a single one word, and it's like, okay, yeah, that's technically what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and that's fine. Like, I don't know. I guess I need an extra oomph to it. Like, that's why I did pick this one. It's a fine pick. Number 3. Here we go.
This coming from the guy with proper nouns in his name.
Yeah.
And that's you.
Number 3. This one is one of the first ones that bring out...
Speaking of which, we were talking about like the one words. The rest of mine are just one words.
I have one more that's one word, but it's not my number 3. My number 3 is the one that I kind of thought we would have as a crossover. Because this is one that you own. And this one is like, as soon as you hear the name of it, you get visions of like movies and books and like stories like in your head of like how the game is going to play, and it mostly lives up to that. This is Escape Curse of the Temple, and when you think Escape Curse of the Temple, of course escape, that means you're on a time frame.
Oh, I don't own this one. I have the roll right.
Yeah. But I mean, like, you've played the original. It's very evocative of that. Like, Escape Curse of the Temple. It's like, okay, you're an archaeologist, you're feeling like an Indiana Jones, you're escaping, you're getting out of there. It's a real-time game. It brings out the theme of it. Canvas, and I'm famously known for being like, I love that. But yeah, I mean, Indiana Jones and the Crystal Dice. And the Crystal Dice. No, Escape Curse of the Temple was one of the first ones where I'm like, okay, that I already know what the theme is about. I already kind of know the premise of what it's going to do. Mm-hmm. I'm excited to try this because it's just a time battle. Get out of that temple as soon as you can. I like that. It brings up the excitement just thinking about the name. So, okay. Escape Curse of the Temple, my number 3.
All right, so this is going to be a run of different engine builders here. So for me, these are really evocative. My number 1 is actually, I think, the best one I have here, and I'm surprised you haven't said it yet. So I'm thinking it might be a little bit later on your list.
Okay.
But my number 3 is another word one. This is a engine builder one. I like this one a lot because it literally is telling you what you're doing in this game. It's called Earth.
You're earthing.
Yeah, you're building an ecosystem based on whatever island you have or whatever. I can't stand that game. That ain't happening. That's too damn loud for me. But I love Earth. It's about building the ecosystem. It has some fun mechanisms, especially the part where you're like working on everybody's turn. And this is one of my favorite mechanisms. One person gets a great action and everybody else gets a minor action that still works really well, and then everybody triggers their card. Like I said, I love engine building games. All 3 of these are kind of engine building games that are left, and these just where they landed for me. But it's got a great look. It's got a striking cover. It tells you exactly what you're doing for me. So it was Earth. And literally when I saw the name of it originally, and then you guys started talking it up and left the height, I'm like, yeah, no, this works for me. Yeah. So Earth, my number 3.
Yeah, I kind of envision like, the BBC show Planet Earth.
Planet Earth and stuff like that, yeah. And that's what it was doing for me too. It's like, oh, okay, I'm like Blue Earth, and I have what's his name, Attleboro in my mind when I play this game. It's just hearing him when you're seeing like the different animals coming up. Yeah.
And the wild wildebeest.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, number 2. Here we go. That'll be me. This is this one is my last single word title, and because it not only had this word is a homonym, or it's not a homonym actually, it's a or what's it called where it's spelled the same way but it's a different meaning. I forget what it is. Like
cinnamon? No,
it's not a synonym. Anyway, you guys know what I mean. So it's spelled the same way but it has 2 different meanings, and in this game both meanings are part of the game. And that's what I like about it. This is Medium from Greater Than Games. So Medium.
Wow, I'm shocked
that
we don't have a crossover.
We don't. No, I think after we got halfway, I'm like, nah, there's no more crossovers, because Medium, the way it works is you are psychic fortune teller or whatever. It doesn't really matter about the psychic part of it, but you're trying to get into the headspace of the player to your left or right on your turns, and you're trying to. And the rulebook even brings out like the silliness of it. It's like, yeah, it's like it doesn't work all the time, but when it happens, it's amazing. It's a miracle, how that works. And so you're trying to come up with the word that matches both your words, as in the medium between the 2. That's the other meaning, right? So if you have like chef and I have something like house, we need to find what would be the medium between that. So we think about the word. When we're ready, we go 3, 2, 1 and say it at the same time. If it's the same one, cool, we get points. The earlier we do that, the better it is. But if brutal board game bard. If instead that you'd say different words, then you have to find the medium between those 2 new words, which might be closer or they might be drastically farther apart. It's really fun, and the fact that they're using a psychic theme of it on top of it works really well. Medium, fantastic choice.
Yeah, it's okay. I like the game. Medium.
You're just saying that because it's my pick. I know.
Medium is just not evocative enough for me because
I like the fact that
you could have called it psychic. Okay, fine.
No, psychic wouldn't make sense for the medium between the 2 choices. That's what I'm saying. Medium is the word that works for both mechanism and theme. It really does.
All right. My number 2 is, again, I got it. This is probably it always shows up on my list, but this was very evocative for me when it came out, because it basically said something that I used to do growing up. This one was Wingspan, and I used to birdwatch with my uncle. And so this one really hit for me because it is about bird watching. You're seeing birds being put in your tableau, I guess you could say, the I forget what that thing's called, your playmat. And it's basically you're having a bird sanctuary and you're seeing all these birds in that specific sanctuary. We have a bird sanctuary not that far from us, in between here in Albuquerque, the Bosque. And I've been there, not the Bosque, what's it called? We pass it every time we go to Albuquerque, but I've gone there a lot of times, and it's a bird sanctuary. Yeah. And so Wingspan really was one of those things that gravitated towards me, and it was a striking name. That's why it's my personal list, so shut up.
I'm not saying anything.
I see the smirk on your face over here.
Convince them. I'm not convinced, but go ahead.
Well, that's because you hate the game.
I don't hate the game.
You do hate the game. You don't believe in the hype.
I will give you credit. Wingspan is a better title or better name than Earth.
But it's very evocative for
that.
what it's doing. It led to a whole genre of games where Earth can succeed, where Meadow can succeed, and stuff like these nature-themed
Meadow's
games.
A decent name.
It was fine. I just don't like Meadow all that much as a game. It's a fine game, but it's not going to make any of my lists, really. Because it just takes too long. Wingspan can go a little long, but I don't feel it. You're seeing all these different birds. You're putting them in your tableau. They have some really cool mechanisms that really fit to the bird style of games. So, hunting for food, hunting for all this stuff. Wingspan, my number 2.
All right, and on to our number 1s.
Now, I'm surprised this is not on your list.
My number 1?
Mm-hmm. My number 1.
No, this was the first one that popped in my head as soon as I thought of it. As soon as we came up with this.
Same with this one.
Yeah, this was the first one, hands down, because this game, it's a silly game. It's more or less an abstract strategy game, but there is a theme to it, and the silliness,
Onitama?
the theme, and everything else about the game is represented in the title, and it gives you a full understanding of it. And it has a little bit of pun in it as well. So, that time
God,
you killed me.
Pun. Oh, man.
No, it's not a pun. It's just that time you killed me. That's not a pun, sir. That's not a
You
play
just
on
said had a
words.
little bit of pun in there.
A little bit, because it's a game about time travel. And so that time you killed me. So it's a series of scenarios. It is an abstract 2-player head-to-head game, and it's a time travel teamed game. And the way it works is that you and your opponent, you are trying to go through different versions of time because you both invented time travel, but you're trying to prove that if you killed the other person, then they can't claim that they invented it yet. So it doesn't matter who invented it, it's that you're trying to claim that you invented it. So you're trying to go back in time or forward in time to try and eliminate them from the timeline in order to win the game. Hands down, just such a cool game. It works for what it is. You know, it is a head-to-head. It's almost like a chess-like game. And you do play over, past, present, and future. And you move your pawns amongst those in different ways. And events that happen in the past will affect the present and the future. Present will affect the future. And you could do different things. That has a bunch of different modules where you do something in the past, it'll do something bigger in the future. Or you can send back in time. But you can never, go into the same paradox as something else. It's just such a cool idea, and they brought out a theming into an abstract strategy game that works really well. And they could have been like, time travel battle or whatever, but the fact that they titled it something silly, as a term, that time you killed me, I think it brings it out. Just like the same as that other one, the how to rob a bank. It's that same idea, it's that same level, but the fact that time you killed me, the time word of it, brings out the time travel really well, and it feels that way. That's the best title for a game I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Sir,
Nah, it's a fun game.
You're actually right now, because every single one of mine, I'm not ridiculing your opinion.
Yeah, you are. With your face.
Your face is a natural ridicule, sir. No, every single one. No, it's not very good. No. Well, actually, no.
Well,
it doesn't bring
actually,
out.
no.
Actually, it's a pun.
I'm just surprised this wasn't on your list because one,
maybe I forgot it.
This is one of your favorite games.
Okay.
2, it's one of your favorite designers, and 3, the name invokes what this game is doing. It's literally telling you everything you're doing. You're building an engine. It's an engine building game where you're building engines. This is Gizmos from Simon, the Phil Walker Harding game.
Yeah, it's not bad. No, I mean. Dan, Karen. Yeah, no kidding.
But it's a fun little engine building game. It's got a cool look to it.
That's one of the best names for all of his games, though.
Yeah.
Honestly. I thought Sushi Go, I'm like, that name sucks. I hated that name.
Sushi Roll was pretty bad, too.
Sushi Roll, yeah. That would make more sense, at least.
Yeah. But no, it really fits everything we're talking about here. It's evocative what it's doing. It's literally telling you what the game is. It's an engine building game about building engines.
Yeah.
And this triggers, and that happens, and then this happens, and this engine fires, which fires this engine. And so it does really, really cool. Plus, Gizmo is just a cool word.
Yeah.
And it makes me think
It
of
is.
like Gremlins and stuff like that because I love that movie.
Yep.
But it's one of the best names for a Phil Walker Harding game that he's done because it's better than Cities. In all honesty, Cities just
Cities is an awful name.
It's so generic.
So generic. I mean, and not to criticize your thing. That's why I didn't pick Earth. I'm like, yeah. There's a lot of things that are Earth. Yeah. Sure.
Exactly.
It's
and it also
wrong.
has like the big toy factor on it because you're building all these little engines and stuff like that, a gizmo and stuff. So for me, this was the first thing I thought of, and I was like, it might be on his list, but it might not be. No. I love this game. I don't play it at 2. I just don't think it cycles enough at 2, but like 4 players, it's pretty good. I like this a lot at a higher player count. And plus, it's that toy factor, that board game Bard over here, when you're pulling the marbles and you're like, oh, I did this. And now because I did this, I can pull this out here. Yeah. And now I'm firing this red, which means I can do this and I can do that and I can do this. Gizmos is what really hit for me.
Yeah. Very good. I mean, I don't disagree with that one. That's the first good one you've had. There you go. Actually.
Really?
Yes.
You liked Can't Stop in the Bloody End, so.
Actually, no, I passed by the Bloody End. I'm like, it's not bad. Yeah, it is more evocative. I'll give you that. Like, I mean, it could have been just, like, like based off of whatever that killer was, the H.H. Holmes or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
It could have been that, right? Yeah. But I'm glad that they went with the
They do have a board game based on H.H. Holmes and stuff like that.
I know. And I would be more willing to try the Bloody End if given just the 2 titles, right?
Oh, this is not the most controversial episode we've ever done.
Not even close. What were some of the shortlist ones you had?
Okay, so I have 3 that's in my shortlist here. One just popped in my head when we're doing the thing.
I knew more were going to pop up, yeah.
And it reminded me of something like we were talking about something like, oh, that would have been a good one if I had saw the game or something like that. Mm-hmm. And that Voices in My Head from Unexpected Games. Yeah. And it just because that's that coin pusher and stuff like that. The other one for me was Return to Dark Tower. But that's why it's on my short list.
I like that it's a meta, right? Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, no, like the old game was the Dark Tower. Yeah. We are returning to it. Yeah.
And then the big one for me, I'm a history buff.
Yeah.
And this one really was evocative to me. And this was Freedom, the Underground Railroad. Because you're literally doing that aspect of the game where you're leading the enslaved people to freedom, to Canada and stuff like that. And you're also trying to drum up support. And it leads to that. But for me, those were the 3 on my short list. And honestly, Freedom, the Underground Railroad probably would have made my list if I remembered it when I was making the list.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Here's the honorable mentions I had, and there's a bunch of them. There was one that had like a subtitle that I remember they used to coin, but then they changed it. Mm-hmm. But Fry Thief, the game of poor life decisions.
Oh, God, no.
Like, that's a great name.
I just thought another one that, it's not a great name, but it just made me think of it because
Go for it.
One of our mutual friends just pushed this game so much and it drove me insane. Zombie Fries, I think it's what it was, where...
Oh, Lord of the Fries.
Lord of the Fries, there you go. Oh.
Yeah. That's a pretty good name.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like, Kill Dr. Lucky. Anything that's...
Kill Dr. Lucky was...
James Ernest, right?
I thought of, yeah.
Oh, Pears would have been a good one, too. Anyway, but so I'm the Boss. That was my Sid Saxon one that I thought of. I was like, because that one, there's so much shenanigans. Like, you know what? I'm the boss now. And then you throw down that card. Bargain Basement Bathysphere.
I thought that was going to be on your list.
At first, but I'm like, I didn't even know what a bathysphere was. And, like, prior to I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what that term was. So, like, I learned that playing the game, really. But I was like, okay, a bathysphere, got it. It's like a submersible, you know. But Bargain Basement
It was one of the first submersibles.
Yeah. This Game is Killer from Smirk and Dagger.
So another one that could have been on the list was So You've Been Eaten.
So You've Been Eaten? Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. I like that a lot.
Bad Path and Beyondosphere.
Bob Ross, The Art of Chill game.
Actually, if I came to my room and saw that one, that would have been on my list. Scoville.
Scoville? Yeah. Yeah, that's
because for where we live.
Unspeakable Words. Because
yeah, okay.
Because once you go crazy, then you can start talking and making up words. I love that. Geek Out. I thought was I think that's a very appropriate title for that style.
It's an appropriate title. It just doesn't.
Right. It's why it didn't make the list. Get Rich Quick. That's a great one. Going, Gone.
I'm surprised Guillotine wasn't on your list as much as you love that game.
I don't think that's a great name for it.
Poetry for Neanderthals. Okay.
Poetry for the Neanderthals. That's good. That's a great one. Tadam. The drawing one? Yep.
Oh, God.
Are you smarter than a box of rocks?
Apparently, you're not. Every time you play it, the box of rocks is...
Yeah. And this is the one I'm honestly surprised you didn't have on your list. Almost Innocent.
I thought about it, honestly.
I saw that on my shelf. I'm like, that's a pretty good title. Almost Innocent.
It is a pretty good title, but it's just like... The way I went about it is something that is going to draw me to the shelf and look at it, and that one wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
If I hadn't already played it, I probably wouldn't have wanted it.
No, just because it says Almost Innocent.
Yeah.
Like, if it said Almost Guilty, then it's like, yeah, definitely hard pass. But Almost Innocent? Wait a minute.
No,
Hold
but...
on.
The title just doesn't pull me to the shelves. Like, I've looked at it at game stores, and I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
But after playing it with Damn It Dom, that's when I was like, oh, no, I like what this is doing. But it wasn't going to draw me in.
Right. No, that makes
Earth,
sense.
Wingspan, Gizmos, that kind of stuff will draw me in.
Yep. Now, come to think of it, like, Poetry for Neanderthals, there's Really Loud Librarians, there's Power Hungry Pets, like a lot of the Exploding Kittens, they do a great job of titling their games.
I want to try that our friends over in Canada,
Really,
Tabletop Bellhop, talk about a lot. Smug Owls. That's a name that
Smug Owls.
Yeah, it's a little party game, but it's called Smug Owls.
That's a great name.
Flip Town was another one that could have happened.
There was one, it was like a 2-player card game, it was like a super indie board game called Divorce Simulator that I thought was always kind of funny. It's still like slightly like, not quite.
If I was going to put like an IP game on my list, it would have been Fallout Shelter, because that's the best one that invokes the theme. Like Fallout, yeah, whatever, but Fallout Shelter really invokes the little local or the phone game that you can do, the mobile game.
Yeah, there you go. So, let us know in the comments what you think is the best name for a game. Whatever reason, most. You want the inverse of this question? What's the worst names? Oh man.
Oh God.
Yeah.
That's a topic for another time.
We'll talk about that during the after show. Which, speaking of, if you ever want to contact us and give us ideas for future episodes, enter in contests, or just to reach out and say hello, email us at everydayboardgames2020@gmail.com. Also, we have an Instagram, instagram.com/everydayboardgames. Go check it out, see some of the games that we've been playing lately, or other posts that we feel like talking about.
And all video re-uploads and reviews are found under youtube.com/@everydayboardgames. And there are 3 things you can do to help us grow on the platform. Subscribe if you're not, like the video, and comment down below and tell us your thoughts on the subject.
We also stream our episodes live at twitch.tv/everydayboardgames. Join us like our friends Board Game Bard and Illuminous and anybody else who joined us today on our live stream.
And all audio versions can be found on most podcast platforms under Everyday Board Games Podcast. This includes Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, and Apple.
So we want to thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I've been your host, Daniel.
And I've been your host, Daniel.
And we want to thank you for listening to Everyday Board Games.
And remember, every day is a good day for board gaming.